Today we're going to be spinning resin into gold with scale paints. Yo dog, Kenny Boucher here, next level painting, hitting you up on the literal best of all days here in the Beast Lab in Hollywood, California. We're doing it again. Today I'm going to be breaking down resin. I'm going to show you the preparation process, how to clean it, how to prime it, and how to paint it. Plus, we're going to be breaking out a new paint that we've never used, the scale paints. We're going to be using the metallics to show yet again another secretly easy gold formula. Big shout out to my man Wyatt Turk for sending me the scale paints so I can try them out here in this video. We're working on a new type of thing here, guys. So we're going to be doing an ancient Chinese technique video right here, studio. But on Twitch, we're taking it to the next level. You're not going to want to miss what's happening on Twitch. Check the description box below. Stay up to date. We make it happen. It's interactive. It's the new heat, guys. Check out the longword.net, the home of the battle reports and your 8th edition coverage. And before we get this thing started, I need to shout out a couple of clutch individuals. My main man, Peter, Eldorado, Tanahara. Thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon, my personal crowdfunding page. Let's get this party started with a good old-fashioned hot tub full of warm, soapy dishwater. This is key because this stuff cuts grease really well, aka oil from your hands, whatever is in mold release from the factory, I don't know, and also possibly little pieces of rubber from the mold. A lot of these Forge World kits, these resin kits, are going to be covered in chemicals that you need to get off. So here's sort of the secret. Resin is soft once it gets warm. You can use this warm water to straighten things out real easy, but you also got to be careful. You got to be gentle. Resin doesn't play games. It's not plastic. Resin's for limited releases of models. It's a lot easier to go short run with it, but you got to know what you're working with before you start working with it. So we're using a brush here. This is like a shoe polish brush. We're very gently washing these pieces individually, making sure that no release or rubber or any bullshit's on these pieces. This is always my go-to. Now, I even wash plastic models. Big plastic models that maybe I built them, they're looking really good. I might actually give them a little spritz of simple green and give them a quick rinse down to get any oil off them. Well, here's the next stage. We got to dry the model. We're going to put it in a little box with some paper towels. We're going to just pat dry it, then we're going to let the air do the rest, and we're going to come back to it. Now we got to prime this model. So we did a video a couple weeks ago about the ancient Chinese secrets between surface primer and air thinner. We're going to do it here yet again. But here's the thing, guys. Resin is a whole different thing than plastic. So a polymer like this primer particularly might beat up on the resin. That's because it's too thin. You got to get the right ratio. If you catch it beating up, you almost have to stop immediately, wipe it off, add a little bit more primer to the mix and get it a little thicker. You got to find that perfect ratio. Resin is a little bit more particular. My go-to instinct a lot of the times actually is to use rattle can primer. But this model has very subtle, very small details. So I chanced it here with the potential of beating up my poor surface primer on this resin. But we were able to get through it. So we're going to use some scale 75 metallics. These were sent to me by a good friend named Wyatt Turk, Jack of Close Painting on Twitch. He said, you got to try these out. So this is black gold. So we just threw it right in the airbrush, threw a little flow improver in there, and we're going to see what the fuck happens. I already like the pigment, and I really like the consistency. It's a very lacquer metallic. It's not heavy on glitter flakes or metal flakes. Has a real natural look. I really like that. Airbrush, pretty decent. It's not like the greatest paint I've ever ran through my airbrush in the world, but it's doing pretty good for a metallic. So we're just going to completely coat this model in this black metal, this black gold. We're obviously not going to try to paint the cape with it, but if gold gets on the cape, it gets on the cape. Don't worry about it. So we totally built this model top to bottom. We don't really care. We're going to keep the paints pretty thin during the airbrush process. It's going to be all good. You got to make sure to shove it into all the nooks and crannies. Thinning the paint down will help with this. So once you get a good, solid base coat here and it's dried up, just give it a good inspection. Make sure there's no spots you missed. And if you did, like I said, a little bit of thin down paint, sling it into those cracks because you don't want to oversaturate the detailed areas. Boom. Looking pretty good. That's a solid color. I'm really digging it. Now we're going to go to this next color. I think it's called the Dwarven Gold. Yes, Dwarven Gold. Now we're going to just add a little bit of more flow and proof in the pot. We have a little bit of the black gold still at the bottom, and we're going to add a little of this Dwarven Gold on top. So there's still a common link between those two colors. And we're going to stir them together with our lucky paintbrush that's dedicated to this task, our stir brush. And we're going to go nuts, dropping a quick little highlight off. Now you're not going to get nearly as much of a highlight transition when working with these metallics like this, but you know, it's always good to work transitions in subtly and not abruptly. So here we go, backflow technique. We got a full-blown mix here. We're going to prime the pump, back the needle out a couple times, make sure we're ready to go. Last mix, boom. We're going to hold the model upside down, top down spray, and we're going to let this find its way to all the raised surfaces on the tops, focusing on the shoulder pads, top of the chest, tops of the feet, all sorts of things. Just real quick, immediately starts brightening the model. There he is, looking real gold, real fast. Solid technique right here. These paints are amazing. By this point in the painting process, I'm very impressed with these scale paints. These metallics are some of the best metallics I've ever used, especially for golds. Golds have a weird way of being weird. Very cool, low glitter, very great. I mean, I'm down, and I'm really looking forward to putting a wash on this, seeing how it interacts. So now we're just finding all the angles, making sure we got some nice transitions. We do this with every model, guys. Bit repetitious, but sometimes that's what it is. Here we go. Here's a second pass after all that dried, muted down. We're just going to reinforce that highlight. We're actively trying to avoid his head and his cape, but it's still going to get gold on it. See, we're getting in tight, adding some on his chest and his feet. Very subtle, adding a lot of air to the mix, letting it dry as quick as possible. Little air, paint. Feeling good about that. Okay, so let's jump into it. We're going to add a little heavy metal. This is one of their silver colors. We're going to put a drop of this into the gold mix, and we're going to just very lightly accentuate the highlights we just established with a little bit of the silver mixed in, which is going to brighten it up in a very natural way. There you go. Because you always got to take it to 11 before you take it to 10 with your wash game. And you best believe we're going to be using a wash game here. There we go. Add a little highlights to the pauldrons, top of the back iron halo thingy, his bird mount. I don't. It's like he's got birds on every piece of his armor. Caw-caw. Feeling good about it. We're getting to the final stretch here, how we're going to pop this out and make it look its best. From resin to gold. Now we're going to use some Vallejo gloss varnish. We're going to run this through our airbrush. Ancient Chinese technique right here. Little gloss varnish, a little airbrush thinner. And we're going to quickly seal him up. Give him a nice thin coat. Let this totally lock in, let it dry. It does two things. First thing it does is it protects your model. We just laid down a very subtle and soft series of colors that we don't want them to rub up, especially after we're going to go in there and wash them. But here's the thing, this also helps the wash phase by locking in all these colors and creating like kind of a sheet of almost glass on top of the model. It's going to break up the surface tension for when we bring the wash out. So it's really going to do its work, because I don't want the wash to stain this gold too much. I want it to find its way into crevices and sharpen the gold and give it contrast. So the gloss trick helps big time with that. And there's a second trick to it, because you don't have to stop at a gloss varnish. You can use a gloss-based wash as well. So here we are. These are GW gloss washes. They have a gloss medium in it. So we're going to double down on the breaking of surface tension here. We mixed a little bit of the flesh shade into the known oil. So it's a very reddish brown black. Now we're going to dab it on carefully. We're not going to aggressively brush it in, but we're going to dab it on, let it find its way naturally into all the recesses. Gravity is going to do most of the work here because we have so much surface tension being destroyed by the gloss on gloss trick here. So it's going to be a very low stain wash and a very high gravity pulling. So you have to kind of stay active with the dabbing process. Make sure it's not pulling in one section. Dab it out. You got to stay in motion until it's all laid out in the model. Give it a couple more minutes, and then you're done. But it's liquid skill. So we're just dabbing it on his helmet here, you can see, his pauldron, and we're letting gravity do the rest, and we're helping it a little bit. We occasionally are wiping some of the excess wash off the brush, and so we can use the brush as a sponge, as you can see right here. Definitely looking its best right now. This is definitely my first approach to almost every miniature, is to figure out what color I want to paint it, what wash I want to use to create more contrast, because that's all we're doing here, is we're basically highlighting these metals to be very bright, and then we're creating contrast by going in there and shading the recesses. And we don't want to stain the brightness of our gold, so we're doing everything we can to make this easy and fast. And by using a gloss varnish plus a gloss wash, that's essentially in a nutshell what we're trying to do, create contrast. Get all the surfaces. This guy takes to a wash amazingly. Look at all these details, these hard edge details. We're going nuts here, hitting it all, doing our best. This wash is going real far too. Using a GW glaze brush. This is one of the only brushes I like that GW makes. I like a lot of things GW makes though. I like the gloss washes. I like a lot of their colors. I haven't been sold on their paintbrushes yet, but I'm warming up to it. There we go. Now we're going to paint his axe. Looking his best. Awesome. So let's see what's next. Feels like we finished this gold that quick, right? But here's the thing, guys. We're doing the super secretly easy to paint gold tutorial right now, but live on Twitch. We just took this guy to the next level. That's a Friday exclusive, guys. So if you're seeing this video, know that we took him to the next level live on Twitch already, and you can already find the VOD on Twitch, on Patreon, or possibly on YouTube, guys. That's the level we try to bring now. We try to combo these videos off, cross-pollinate. All right, so we got him done. Here's the final form. Testers, model masters, lusterless. We let it all dry. It's going to dry down shiny, and we hit it with a nice matte varnish. So we knock that shine down, and now he's ready to take the details. Like I said, we've already begun detailing this guy. Super fresh. Here he is, Legio Custodes Tribune. Gold, secretly easy. Resin to gold. Thanks for watching, guys. Play on, players.